Showtime with Mark and Kelly. Actor and co-host Mark Consuelos got into a heated argument with the show's producer. He is well known for his devoted to Kelly Ripa, his wife. To what extent, though, did he cause trouble? Stay tuned for further information about this occurrence. The question of whether something is ever off limits or not is never addressed. The hosts of Live with Kelly and Mark Consuelos and Kelly Ripa. They make a great team and have been married for nearly 30 years. Their conversations are usually lighthearted and realistic for couples. Their banter is entertaining enough, but they also don't shy away from talking about important topics or taboo themes. Undoubtedly, there are instances when Kelly or Mark require a day off. Thursday, August 7th was the precise day of that event. While his wife was away, Consuelos was flying solo. News anchor Elle Duncan filled in for Kelly, and Mark didn't hesitate to bring up one of Duncan's pet peeves. A man's inability to offer a decent handshake annoys him, he told his guest co-host. The 54-year-old father said he showed his two sons the proper way to shake hands right away. Hence, he is highly committed to this issue. According to him, the worst form of male handshake is when the fingers are softly grasped. He went on to show Elle this awkward gesture. They firmly grasped my finger, causing your handshake to be really weak. When Mark Consuelos spoke this line, he wasn't merely describing the action. He did it with a whisk, showing Elle Duncan the inappropriate motion by holding his fingers loosely. Elle Duncan, an experienced broadcaster, acted professionally and gracefully throughout the ordeal. Her tight smile and rapid pivots said it all. Wow, you really are passionate about that, Mark. She tried to shift the subject away from anything too heavy and onto something lighter by laughing. However, Consuelos leaned in even closer as he sensed he had the audience's attention. This was the severe lean that the text was referring to. He went beyond merely shaking her hand. A simple demonstration of a handshake became an act of control as he drew closer to them, his stare piercing. Elle said with her usual professional enthusiasm, he was doing a lot, but her body language betrayed her intention to move on. Quietness descended upon the crowd, who had just a moment ago giggled in accord. Uncomfortable power play had replaced the formerly prevalent focus on relatable pet peeves. The incident that really got the production crew excited was much more significant than this embarrassment with Duncan. The dig at William Hanson, an authority on proper manners. At this point, Consuelos' relationship with the producer became more contentious. In the episode that aired weeks ago, Hanson showed how to cut a banana the right manner using a fork and knife. Although the video was hilariously clumsy, Mark's response was overly aggressive. In his opinion, William also sits down to pee. William, please stand up. Consider that. Be a guy, was not a casual comment. As he spoke, he stared straight ahead at Michael Gallman, the longtime executive producer sitting off camera. Before saying anything, I'll say something controversial, but I know you can ignore it. Something extremely particular was going on with Consuelos. Live is a program that records live events. Production begins around 1 hour before the show airs, providing editors a little window to fix any obvious mistakes or save time. Permission was not being sought by Consuelos. A gauntlet was being thrown down by him. By drawing a connection between a man's manners and his masculinity, and even his toilet habits, he was admitting that his comment was offensive. Finally, he dared his producer to remove his content. The remark was obviously not cut by Gellman. This completely unrehearsed and off-limits intensity is the foundation of the Live brand, particularly with Mark. As much as the show would like not to accept it, cutting the comment would be admitting it crossed the line. Instead, it broadcast on the show, making the producer complicit in the contentious moment without saying a word. In a move that solidified his dominance over his co-host, guests, and the show's production as a whole, Mark engaged in a power play. Consuelos has built her identity on this aggressive be a guy mindset, which is in stark contrast to her former co-hosts. Kelly Ripa has herself acknowledged and, occasionally, subtly insulted the brand. Another important example is the mention of the airline event with the purse in the book. It wasn't in that account that Mark decided to quickly take another passenger's suitcase away, hardly allowing his wife to pass. He was describing a disciplinary measure taken against a man for acting femininely by carrying a purse, for example. Both his popularity and his criticism stem from this duality. For almost 3 decades, viewers saw Mark Consuelos play the role of the pleasant, good-looking actor and loyal spouse of the legendary Kelly Ripa. His character has evolved into one that is more complicated and dominant in his new role as co-host. Even while he's still a loving spouse, He also appears to be quite set on a specific traditional view of manhood, insists on a certain way of shaking hands, and criticizes the manhood of other men. What the viewers did, or didn't do, in the August 7th episode was probably the most interesting part. Viewers did enjoy Mark and Elle's interaction, but they ignored his domineering conduct, as mentioned in the text. There seems to be a big gap between what people in the industry are saying and how the show's core audience is responding. Spectators in person are renownedly devoted. Through many changes in programming and co-hosts, they have persevered. Maybe Mark's actions won't seem so aggressive or poisonous to them. The audience instead sees Mark as a likable husband who is occasionally harsh and a bit clumsy, but overall harmless. Just being Mark. The prism of his long-sought, idealistic marriage to Kelly reveals his dominant behavior. Her vibrant feminine vitality is balanced by his masculine presence. They don't take his tirades about handshakes seriously. Rather, they find them amusing. On the other hand, the studio talk was taking place in separate spheres. Both younger viewers and media critics on social media sites like Reddit and X, previously Twitter, were less lenient. Viewers analyzed the handshake clip and commented on how awkward Elle Duncan seemed. Was Mark Consuelos truly inappropriate with Elle Duncan? Or am I the only one who noticed this? An article was read, and it received thousands of likes. He's unfailingly the leader. That's a lot of work. Now that Mark and Kelly are walking, here's the tightrope walk. With its new co-host comes some eyebrow-raising humor, which is inextricably linked to the show's new identity. The show, which used to be a gentle morning mainstay, now often dabbles in controversy. There have been other instances besides the William Hanson remark and the handshake display. They are merely examples of Canules's adopted style of behavior. Gilman and the rest of the show's creators appear happy to let things unfold as they may. After all, the contentious parts make people talk. In contrast to discussions about new recipes or celebrity interviews, they maintain the show's place in the cultural debate by making headlines and creating viral clips. Mark's eagerness to go there is actually a strength, not a weakness, in terms of production. However, there is a substantial danger. The show's strength has always been in the comforting familiarity it provides to viewers first thing in the morning. The very people who have kept the show running for decades are at risk of tuning out Consuelos' alpha male brand because of its casual satire of femininity and its focus on physical domination. There is still entertaining co-host Mark Consuelos, who has been around for decades as mentioned in the text. He is able to break through barriers that previous hosts couldn't, since his charisma is his armor. How much longer can that enchantment last? That is the question that will follow the show into its fall 2025 season. At what point will the show's relatable charm be eroded by the alpha antics that fuel viral clips? Alternatively, has Mark Consuelos only reimagined the potential of morning television? Everyone from the viewers to the producers is clearly waiting to witness his next move, and the noise level is only going up.